All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations to those that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Nathaniel coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson. I pray I hope this lesson is edifying. Now, this lesson, this is a video that I profiled by Richard Wolff. All right, now Richard Wolff, is a big economic analyst, and he tells you pretty much what's happening with the U.S. dollar and how the U.S. economy is being impacted by the de-dollarization of the world. Okay, and how you have a lot of other nations that are now, they want more than fucking dollars, so they leave in the dollar, right? Which is causing a devaluing of the dollar, all right, and that ultimately is causing the dollar to lose its global presence, and eventually is going to lead to the full collapse of the dollar, which the dollar's already done. It's just a matter of time before it falls apart completely. Okay, so we're gonna watch some of this video. I'm gonna play some of it, let as much of it play, and but before we get started, let me, that's not what I wanted. All right, 1 second. I want this preset, but that's not the one I wanted. All right, so we're gonna come back to that. Revelation 18. We're gonna start off with James 5:1, and it says, "Go now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your misery shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupt, and your garments are moth-eating." Okay. Verse 3, "You have your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. They shall eat your flesh as fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days." All right. So as we're seeing this de-dollarization, hold on 1 second. All right. So what we're seeing, Slaki, what we're seeing is a de-dollarization, and a lot of countries are losing their confidence in the dollar. Okay, so this right here is going to destroy the wealth of a lot of rich men in America and throughout the world. Well, mostly Babylon the Great, those that are holding dollars. So, my man's Mr. Wolff here, he goes into how the other nations, they want real goods and services exchanged for their goods and services. They no longer want paper. All right, not to mention you have, this quantitative easing where they're just printing money and devaluing the dollar, which is making their countries have to purchase more dollars in order to function. Okay, so these other nations, they want out. They want something more secure. They want something, that they can control. All right. So without further ado, let's play this video. Some of this video.
Mostly on the right wing of political thinking, but even the most steadfast supporters of capitalism and supporters of the United States are able to see that the dollar is literally losing its global position.
It's not losing its global position. The dollar has lost its global position. Okay. Let me go to another preset real quick. Because these other nations, they've gained economic strength, okay, for the purpose of being able to challenge Babylon. All right, so this is Joel, the 2nd chapter, Is it the second chapter or the third chapter? I think maybe the third chapter. Alright, yeah. Joel 3:10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Okay, now this beat your plowshares into swords. This goes into their agriculture. So they're using, the stuff that they used to use to put into the building of their roads, their infrastructure, their agriculture. They're putting a lot of those fundings into their military, which means that they will have to actually strengthen their dollar, strengthen their finances in order to do this. Okay. And this is what the BRICS is all about, because as he says, he's going to say in this video, these other nations, they want to try to live as good as Americans do. They want their dollars to have the same benefit as the American dollar. It says, beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hook in the spears. Let the weak say that I'm strong. Now, the weak can't say, you have to have a economic backing as well as a military backing in order to say that you're strong, because you have to pay your military personnel to fight your wars. You see? So you have to have money. Wars aren't cheap. You see? So these other nations have built up their economic presence in the world, and China is one of them who has become an economic powerhouse to directly challenge the United States of America. Okay? So let's go back to this video.
And what was that global position? Well, it was the dominant currency of the world, pretty much since the end of the Second World War. So that's 75 years and counting. In many countries, the dollar exists as a currency alongside of, or in some cases, instead of that country's currency. Central banks around the world use dollars as part of their reserve alongside gold and other valuable things to show that they can support their currency. And the more the world needs and uses dollars, the more the United States has enjoyed an impeccable economic gain from that.
All right, so then now let's go to Revelation, the 18th chapter, because America has lived deliciously. It's like um uh let's read this. Revelation 18 says, after all these things, because this goes into Babylon fallen. After all these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried with a mighty strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay, for the nations um, from the nations for the nations have drank of her wine and of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. You see that? So the other nations have waxed rich through the trade of Babylon the Great. Okay, and America has been able to live deliciously. Um,
Bobby, go to the game.
okay, Slakia, have lived deliciously and have completely destroyed the earth, and the people, the Lord's people. Okay, all for what? For this fake financial gain. All right. So it says, for the nations have drank of the wine of the wrath of... Okay, I read that. Verse 4, it says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying, come out of my people. So, you got our people that are still here in America trying to get the bag while America's falling apart. Now, I understand we need to, be working on, just staying afloat and being content. But, out here trying to get money and get rich, that's not the way to go in a nation that's falling apart, okay? You want to get your mind and soul and spirit right with the Heavenly Father, all right? It says, I I heard verse 4 again. I heard a voice out from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached onto to heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities." This is why you see all these things hitting America all at once. It says, "Reward her even though as she rewarded you, and double unto her." A double unto her, double according to her work. So the things that you've done, you're going to get done onto you double. And this is one of the biggest things that Esau Edom is afraid of, is getting paid back double what he's done. Okay, and the cup which thou hast filled to her double. How so much she has glorified and herself and lived deliciously. Okay, and this was the point that I wanted. Live deliciously. So off of this U.S. dollar, Americans have been able to live a very pristine life. Even the poorest of Americans have been living better than a lot of these people have been living in these third world countries. Okay, or even lower income middle class countries, so to speak. Okay, so you even have the poorest of people in America who have been living better than these people in these other countries. Okay. So America has been living deliciously, have been having the best of everything, the best food, the most control over the nations, But what did the scripture say in Job 9:24? The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, and America was the golden cup that the Lord used, used to fulfill prophecy. Okay. So it says, I read this again. It says, how much has she glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Okay, so America's gonna get ran up in, and lack for a better term, America's gonna get a horrible cherry popping, so to speak. Okay, it's gonna be the worst thing ever, because when America finally, when these things finally start taking place on America, it's gonna be horrific, and it's already happening. Okay, it's already happening. You're starting to see that the deportations of the Latinos and and Hispanics that are being pushed out of the country. They're starting to cry and we shouldn't have voted for Trump. Of course y'all shouldn't have. You fucking idiots. You voting for a fucking demon that is using you so he can get in office, so he can get your ass out of here, or use you for slave labor. But you ain't gonna listen to it. I seen this one Hispanic woman, this Mexican woman, talking about some, blacks and Mexicans. We need to come together, because these white people are putting us out, and when black people was fleeing slavery, they fleeing to Mexico, and Mexicans hid black people, and this is how y'all repay us. Man, shut that shit up, okay? That stupid ass shit. Up until prior to Trump putting y'all out, y'all Mexicans hated niggas, okay? Y'all hated niggas. And niggas was the ones telling y'all that they was gonna do this shit. It's like it, not niggas, but the men of the Great Millstone. We've been telling y'all all along, but you have had, some jakes out there that ain't in the truth. They've also been warning, these Hispanics and Mexicans and Latinos about the treachery of this fucking devil. Because we already done been through this shit. We already know that he the damn devil. You know, Especially the men of the Lord, we know this man is a damn devil, and we're telling you, but hey, you getting all these promises. We're gonna make y'all like we're gonna put y'all to work and get all whatever rhetoric they use to deceive y'all. Y'all fell for a hook, line, and sinker. But see, hey, the people that are already being oppressed, y'all looking at us like, oh well, we ain't gonna be like them. Yes, the hell you are. He don't give Esau Edom don't give two shits about y'all Hispanics and Latinos. Okay, y'all just like he know who y'all are. He know that y'all are the Israelites, so he gonna treat y'all the same, but he gonna use us to pay us off against one another. All right. On a little side note, verse 18 it says, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, a mourning, and famine, and she shall utterly be burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. Okay? So, hey, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai is about to judge this place and destroy this thing. Okay? And you're starting to see these birth pains. They're not, hey, man, we're in the middle of the birth, right? This thing getting pushed out right now. Okay? And real soon, you're about to see the sedition and the blood on the street. All right? Let's play a little bit more of this video and I get ready to wrap it up.
First of all, we give the world dollars in exchange for something. We don't just hand it out. We get something as a nation, as an economy. For example, if we import goods and services and pay for them with dollars, we get something that is worth the work that went into it. The French wine, the Chinese consumer goods, the Indian technology products. And all we give them is cheap little pieces of paper, dollar bills, $100.
You see that? And this is how America has been able to live deliciously among all of the nations. Because you're literally giving them something. They're giving you something for nothing. Literally. You're giving them dollars and they're giving you fucking paper. Well, that's over with. That's over with. That's coming to an end. The nations are done with that.
Or bills, or the electronic equivalent. It's a wonderful way to get the
Most people have no clue. The best way to increase your income is not with stocks or real estate. There's a little known trend.
The wealth produced around the world and to give in exchange merely a claim on some wealth that may never be actually demanding something because they use the dollars and buy them and sell them and keep them. Many of the people around the world use the dollars that they accept in exchange for the goods and services they produce to lend those dollars back to the United States government, thereby funding our wars and many of our ongoing governmental activities.
You see that? So there you go. Now, with all of this debt and thick clay, and as a matter of fact, let's just get that real quick and these other nations want out of the dollar, and they're getting out of the dollar. And that's what you got. BRICS. The GDP of BRICS has already surpassed the GDP of the United States because all of the product producing countries, those countries that produce goods and services, right? They have a greater GDP already than the United States because the United States don't produce shit. You got Brazil, you got India, like he said, produces the technology. Okay, you got China, right, that produces technology and goods and services. You got Russia that produces weapons, goods and services, and oil. You got South Africa. I don't know what they produce, but all of these nations are producing something, and America's producing nothing. All right, but debt. All right, so this is Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, and I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up in him, his soul which is lifted up, actually, no, verse 3. I'm going to read verse 3 and I'm going to skip down a bit because we are in the middle of prophecy coming to pass. This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but in the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry. Now, it's going to take a while. Wait for it, okay? But it's just wait. Because it surely will come. It will not tarry. When it comes, it's going to come fast. All right? Now I'm going to skip on down to verse 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long, and to him that laden himself with thick clay. You see that? So this devil is laden with thick clay, which goes into debt. So he's used his quantitative easing and his ability to print money to the point to where it has devalued the dollar, and other nations with strong currencies have to buy more dollars in order to get goods and services for their country. And then other nations are done with that shit. And we're seeing the de-dollarization and the actual collapse of the dollar And it's just a matter of time before it goes full on. We're seeing it right now in the grocery stores. When you go to the grocery store and you like and buy burgers or something like that, and you're spending $20. I just went to Publix, right? And I was just looking at the steaks, and for 3 thinly sliced steaks, it was 20. Or two thinly sliced steaks, which is the equivalent of one thick steak that you used to get back in the day. $27. $27, man, for this shit. And this is what I'm saying. This is the um uh, uh, this is the signs of that we're seeing of the collapse of the dollar, and it's about to go full fledged. And ain't shit that Trump can do to save it. So with that, I pray this edifying lesson. I'm gonna end it off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakabadash. Until next time, I say Shalom.